Hey guys, Jeff here with the Common Sense Camper. This is video 3 of my Bushcraft kit, and I carry every single one of these things in my kit. No, I'm joking. What I thought I would do is the video 3 of my Bushcraft kit is actually going to be cutting tools, knives, blades. So what I thought I would do is instead of just showing you what I carry, show you some of the cutting tools that I have that I've had for a while, with the exception of this. I just found that one in an old house, but the rest of them I've used for a long period of time. They're very reliable, and a lot of them are very budget friendly. So a lot of times I forget that some people are on a very tight budget, or they're younger and they're using allowance money to actually purchase some of these items. So I thought I'd put some items in here that are very budget friendly, that are reliable. So from left to right, this is just a larger 21-inch saw. You can buy these at Ace Hardware, Lowe's, Home Depot. I think I paid like $13 for this. So this is going to chew through a lot of larger pieces of wood a lot easier than a folding saw. I will tell you it's a little uncomfortable right here with this metal piece, and that's actually what tightens the blade. But it is a lot less exhausting than using a folding blade if you're going to need to cut through some larger pieces of wood. And this would be something I would just strap to the back of my backpack, and I would just take the whole thing. So yeah, you can roll the blade up in a tin can and make one out of wood, but why bother when, if you have the room and this thing weighs nothing, why not just take the whole thing? Next thing, when we're talking about saws, is the Bahco Laplander saw. There are other folding saws out there where they've done the test, the cut test, like how many strokes it takes to cut through the same diameter piece of wood. And there are saws out there that will do it quicker than the Bahco. But what I have found with those is that you're sacrificing ergonomics, weight, and price. Like the Silky saw, for instance. To me, the ergonomics is not as good as the Bahco, and it's a little more expensive. And I don't know, I just like the Bahco. They're tried and true. Everyone I know in the outdoor world has one of these things, and they just work. I've had this one a long time. I've done nothing to it. It's never failed me. Nothing's ever come loose. So you can get these pretty cheap. They're $22 to $24, but you're going to have them a long time. Next thing is a hatchet. Now this is a very inexpensive hatchet. This is a Collins camping axe, and it was $13. I got that at Ace Hardware. I did have to do some work to it. I'll do a separate video of what I actually did to this hatchet. But it's a very viable tool, and as long as you get one with a good grain pattern, sound like I'm from New York, grain pattern, you're fine. You really can't go wrong with it. So for 13 bucks, why not? The SOG Tomahawk, I bought this used for 10 bucks. And if you need to notch something or make a spear or something like a tent peg or a side support for a lean-to, this thing is a serious chopper. It's almost like a knife with a really big handle. I prefer the Collins axe just because this does not have a hammered end, and I really don't have a whole lot of use for that spiked end. But it's very lightweight, very inexpensive, and it's a good solid tool. You're not going to hurt this tool. K-Bar Becker knives. I like K-Bar Becker. I'm very happy with any of the ones that I've purchased. This is the BK17. They also make a BK16 without the, I call it the shark's tooth, but without, this thing is not going to cooperate, without the shark's tooth. So it just goes flat. It's more like a bushcraft knife. But this is really lightweight, solid knife. You're not going to hurt this thing. Very generous jimping, and it's a great knife. It's an excellent batoning knife, and I would highly recommend this if you want a good, solid bushcraft knife. This is the way I would go. The next one is the BK7. This is a great chopper. You can do smaller tasks with it. It's a little cumbersome because it is a larger knife. I have slightly modified this with the finger choil. I took the thumb ramp off of it, sharpened the spine, put a faux patina on it. But this is a serious knife, and I don't think you could hurt this. I have done all kinds of crazy things with this, and it does its job. BK2, probably the most controversial knife out there. I love this knife. There's a lot of guys out there that hate this knife. What I love this for is if you came to my house and said, out of all these knives and all the other knives I have down in my basement, what's the one knife you would take if you could only have one? That's it. For whatever reason, survival, Armageddon, zombies, it would be this knife. I thought I'd throw in a Schrade. I am not a big fan of Schrade. I've had 3 or 4 other knives. However, this is one that I do like. This is the SCHF 13, and it's a little heavy for the size, but it's a serious knife. And again, this is one of those I don't think you could hurt. You could break the handle, but again, you still have a good, usable knife. And this is, although this is not my style of knife, I do like this. This is a great blade. The blade retention is not as good as say as the K-bar, but this is a budget knife, and it comes with a pretty decent sheath. So I'm okay with this. And a lot of people say, oh, you don't like Schrade, but actually this one I do. I do like this Schrade. All right, let's talk about Moras. This one here is the craft, what they call the craft line, I think Q. This is a great beginner's knife or backup blade because it has a stop here, and it's great for small cutting tasks, you know, crafts, things of that nature. I actually bought all 3 of these as a package on Amazon, and I want to say it was around 30 bucks. So, you know, would I trust my life to a Mora knife? No, because they're not full tang, and the Scandi grind on these blades is pretty thin. I have rolled the edges before, but they're very easy to sharpen, and as long as you're not trying to baton through 6-inch pieces of oak, these are great, what I would call backup blades. This is the, I believe the companion or maybe the clipper, I forget which one it is, but this is my backup blade that I use in my Bushcraft kit. I think individually any one of these can be bought for like 10, 11 bucks. Another one that I like that I actually keep in my vehicle is the Mora Robust, and that has a little thicker blade. By the way, these are all the carbon steel versions. You can sharpen the spine and strike your ferro rod off of one of these very easily. It has a little more beef to the handle. So this is one I could recommend. You know, if you are just a light camper, light bushcrafting person, and you just want something on the cheap, I would highly recommend the Robust. I don't think you could go wrong with that. Now, a lot of you are probably asking, well, why not the Mora Bushcraft Black? Here's my opinion on the Mora Bushcraft Black. I am not a big fan of those, and here's why. When you get into that $48 to $50 range, I think there are other knives out there that you can get which are full tang with the same quality, with a better sheath. So why not just buy one of those? That's just my 2 cents worth on the Mora Black. And I actually saw one at the Pathfinder school, and Dave Canterbury would attest to this because he saw it, where the handle actually broke, which I was surprised because I don't know of too many people that's, you know, actually been able to break one of those handles, and he was just batoning with it.